dokie. Been a little minute since we've been here. Actually, let me fix this one more time. New little background, so we gotta adjust our second phone here. What's going on? Give me this. There we go. How's everybody doing? Now, whoa. All right, we are all set. Welcome to the regulars. Holy moly, it's been a minute, huh? It has been probably around 2 weeks since I was last live, simply because the internet service here has been god-awful. But Elon Musk to the rescue, because I got the Starlink, so that's pretty cool. Oh my god, stranger, haven't seen you in a while. I know. Goodness gracious, we started painting the office too. Holy crap. That's pretty cool. What's up, Lane? Sounds like you got some news for me. What's the news? Oh, there we go. I'm just pulling up the live chats here. Why can't I see the little comments? What Okay. Annoying. I mean, I could see the comments on my screen there, but I'm trying to pull them up over here. I don't know. Maybe I gotta do this. Maybe that works. Ah, there we go. Nice. Okay. Now, let's go like this. Sorry for the interruption. Oh, what the frick? Guess the screen's not cool enough. There we go. Okay, I'm getting there, folks. I'm getting there. All right, how we doing? Lane has some news for me, it seems. And let me get the live chats. Okay. Guess what? I'm tapering off Lex Pro. Nice. Down to 2.5 milligrams. And getting there. It's hard with these withdrawals, but I'm pushing. Nice. Nice. And obviously, you're being guided, which is very good, because you don't want to try to do that on your own. It's going to be pretty much a train wreck if you do. Very, very, very difficult to taper down on those, but you're doing a beautiful job there, Lane. Very difficult to taper down on those, but you're doing a beautiful job there, Lane. I love it. I got a fantastic sticker unlocked. Beautiful. Well, cheers, as always. We got our little cup of espresso. And we'll probably knock out an hour pretty easily here, because I got some updates for all you guys. Consultations now available, so pretty cool there for one thing. And the furniture's being taken out of the office completely. We've actually started painting, which is pretty nice. Putting little primer coats on there and making sure we got all the color schemes correct, and it's already looking awesome. So I know. And now it's just waiting for our furniture to come in and everything, and setting us up from there on. So yeah, it's getting pretty cool. But we got appointments available. We got the office in the works. But obviously, if you're remote, there's nothing holding us back. So we could get started already. But how you guys been? It's been a while. I've been doing some workouts outside, so that's nice. Getting into nature, because I think that's very important. We don't really spend a lot of time outside anymore. If you really think about it, if you're going to work and stuff every day, you're just waking up, spending all that time asleep inside, then you get up, you prepare inside, then you get in a car, still technically inside, and then you get to work, and you go right inside, and then you go home. And it's like, my goodness, we are not... What the hell? Why are you getting filtered already, Lane? What are your thoughts on Omega-3s. Oh. What do they do for you? I mean, they do a lot of things. I mean, they benefit the brain, they benefit the liver, they benefit things hormonally, and from an inflammatory standpoint too, because you're basically giving your body a bunch of fuel in that sense of healthy omegas to build cholesterol from, to build hormones from, to repair a lot of tissues with, which is why you'll see fats typically go up. A lot of people get really worried when they start seeing cholesterol elevate, but it's, why is this elevating? That's the most important part. Because if you don't know why it's elevating, then what are we doing? So, and as always, not against medicine in any way, just saying. Health Q&A, ask about the Starlink setup. That's funny. It's pretty cool. Just a comment, little commercial break before we get hot and heavy into things. Starlink's pretty awesome, to be honest. It took like 20 minutes to set up, and there's like one wire, which is pretty cool. I'm a huge fan already, so Starlink is amazing. Yeah, well, in my area, there's so many trees that take wires down like every month. It's crazy. So it's like at least every 2 weeks, the power's going out or the internet's down or something, It's never ending with that, unfortunately. But Starlink, unless a tree falls directly on that thing, you're not getting in the way of space. So got a lot of room for the sky. I use it on a work trip. Heck yeah. Yeah, you can use it like remotely and stuff too. And then who's that? Broken says hello. How we all doing? Got some people hanging in on the YouTube chats, it seems. Let me know if I'm lagging. Very curious. Curious to see if I'm lagging a little bit. Let me know if I'm lagging. Very curious. Curious to see if I'm lagging a little bit. For you. Now we're back. That lag was on purpose, so you can't say I'm lagging just for that one. But yeah, I've been freaking gone for almost 2 weeks. It feels good to be back. Going to do a nice information talk for a church in my area because they invited me to come and speak. They needed a speaker to fill in a spot, so it'll be really fun. Gonna give them a classic breakdown of all the stuff I'm always talking about, our different stressors and things, how to understand the different forms of healthcare. That one's more about rebuilding, and the other's about keeping the fires out, and both are needed at specific times. So depending on the situation you're in, you may need to get your fire hose down by the medical professionals. And typically it's like, well, who's right? That's not really the question to be answered. And that's when healthcare becomes political, which it's not. I think everybody should be healthy. Don't you? Including your in-laws and your siblings and all that stuff. So everybody should be healthy. There's different routes of getting there. Health is about how well your body functions, and that is all I work on, is how to get you to function better, whether that's through lab work, all these different things, and getting those stressors down, which can be mental, that could be physical, that could be chemical. But anyways, got some people saying, hey, Starlink, gla gla gla. What am I drinking? I got a little Ultima powder of electrolytes and some lion's mane, which always falls to the bottom, which is great, kind of annoying, but either way, it tastes damn good. And we're double fisting with a little espresso cup. So trying to do these lives a little bit earlier because my goodness, this freaking time change is killing me. It's like as soon as 4 o'clock hits, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But yes, it's Randy. Says, what's up, man? How are you? Doing pretty well. Hello, Addie. Post-viral fatigue and CSF advice. I mean, it's about building that immune response back up. And typically when you're seeing chronic type of infections like that, especially with viral proteins, you need to check on vitamin D. Definitely be checking on your sugars. Definitely be checking on your sleep, your stress levels, those things. But Aside from the vitamin D getting marked up on a lab, I would love to see some immune cells, both innate and adaptive immune cells, that you can get a good picture as to what are running low, and then how to support those things and rebuild it back up. And that's where medicinal mushrooms come in like crazy, but I don't want people wasting money on those things. I would rather do a lab that tells us what to be using, right? But yes. Rohith popping into the YouTube chat. Long time no see, I know, holy crap. We are back. Fahad Zaman, I think I've seen you a couple times. I'm 24 years old. I need your advice. Want stronger bones and a sharp brain. What should I focus on? So obviously resistance training is going to help both the brain and your bone metabolism, and getting a ton of proteins in there too, along with your good healthy fats in there. Things like bone broth proteins are great for getting different complexes of collagen so that you can rebuild those bones. Even something like astragalus, great to help with getting the bone marrow to churn out more cells there. That helps the immune factors too. So for the person asking about the post-viral fatigue, there you go. Astragalus, awesome one, especially if you're not currently in an acute stage of sickness or catching a cold or something like that, because you don't really want to jack up white blood cells when you're already jacking up white blood cells by being sick. That's what your body does naturally. It's not that astragalus is going to force things up, but it's going to help modulate some things. I don't think you need it directly, but the sharp brain portion of that, we mentioned the omega-3s a little bit earlier. That's fantastic. Keeping your sugars nice and low, getting fiber up, getting protein up. The resistance training, now you have, things physically, things chemically, and from a mental stress point of view, support your nervous system. Do things like Bacopa and Gotu Kola paired together. They have a synergistic effect like crazy, and it starts becoming, 5-6 times more powerful than just taking those things alone. So, but yes. Addie, I have a question. Ask away, Addie. Dawn, why did the herd immunity fall off the proverbial cliff during COVID? It was supposed to be science, with quotations. Yeah, I think that's kind of interesting. But, not everybody's going to have the same immune responses. And for some people, it's like, why are you going to mask up? Why are you going to be 6 feet away when you have a normal immune response? And your cells will be able to come in contact with this viral protein and beat the heck out of it and overpower it, just like you do with any regular cold or whatever. But there are some people that do not have that immune strength or the strength of those immune responses, and they should kind of stay away, and they should get an immune panel done and vitamin D checked, and looking at what medicinal mushrooms to be doing there to support their own system. And obviously looking for the stressors driving those immune cells down in the first place. So usually you're getting, crazy amounts of inflammation going on, just directing the immune system, all sorts of areas of the body. But yeah, good observation there, Dawn. I think it's kind of funny though. Said hello, Rohith, hello. What challenge are we doing this month? We don't do challenges every month at the Wellness Way. There will be one in January, so stay tuned for that one. But great question though. Just none this month. Addie says, if your ankle's bruised really bad, can it possibly be a sprain if it hurts to run or jog on? I wonder what you did physically. It could be a sprain. Could be, for all I know, you could have a little tiny fracture somewhere. So there's an Ottawa ankle rules, set of 4 or 5 points there to follow if there could be a possible fracture there within the ankle or foot. That's a really good rule set you could look up on your own and do those. It's basically like little tests that you could do physically. Some with walking, some with, tapping on certain areas, but I'm between either a sprain or some tiny little fracture. But I wonder what you did, like if you took the wrong step and just completely caved your ankle in. Hey, that might be why we have some ligamentous issues there. Fatima, what's the best way to reverse insulin resistance without meds? Yeah, I mean, there's obvious things that you guys already know. Sorry, I keep shaking the camera. Like reducing your sugar. My goodness, what a wonderful way to do that. But everybody knows that. Okay, get your sugar down, cool. But what else? You want to get your activity up. You want to focus more on building muscle because your muscle cells are going to be using up a ton of sugar. That is like, your muscles love sugar. They see sugar and they go, beautiful. Let's break this stuff down, tear it up, and then rebuild those muscles. So focus on your resistance training as you reduce your sugars. Get your fiber up like crazy. 40, 50 grams a day at least. And then it's going to vary depending on your size and things, but proteins as well. Go to wellnessway.com, type in protein calculator. You can put your demographics in there on even a goal weight to shoot for, and now have a pretty clear way of, or plan of attack there for what to be shooting in terms of daily protein numbers per day. Insulin resistance, what else? Gymnema and Oregon grape are probably a great pair to start with. I would just get those from the Wellness Way specifically, but I would rather hop on a call with you, set up a little game plan, and then direct you to where to get these things from, because they do have to be clinical grade things. If they are liquid herbs and need to come from certain parts of the world, and they need to be organic and extracted for months on end, so it's got to be done properly. But Gymnema, Oregon grape, great things to be doing. However, for women, something that a lot of people think or forget about is how mental stress can impact your insulin. And you could simply just have crazy amounts of mental stress and be doing everything else right. And guess what? You will develop insulin resistance. So, and you'll have like a skinny fat kind of thing going on, but I would start with those few things and we could follow up there too. But great question, Fatima. Ooh. Why does my high calcium go down to normal levels when my vitamin D is deficient? Your body's probably trying to put that calcium down on different tissues in order to protect yourself from different inflammatory stressors. That's why I love doing vitamin D with K2, so that you can direct that calcium where to go. And you're probably not going to see as much of that issue take place. But yeah, now when it's getting too low, less vitamin D, less calcium being moved around, absorbed, and rebuilding with. So that would be a really good one. A fantastic question, by the way. But we have to figure out where the inflammatory stressors are and get that vitamin D honed in. Definitely doing vitamin D with K2. What's your studying trick? I'm doing a major in IT, but after 1 hour, my brain is just stuck and gets confused. I have it in this cup right here. Lion's mane mushroom. Great, fantastic thing. It's actually the mushroom powder extract, so it's a little more punch there, along with some electrolytes in there, because you're a chemical battery. You need enough electrolytes in a day, and I know that's talked about ad nauseum in the natural world, but it is for a reason. You could do like 5 grams of salt a day. So, you know, there's that. Bacopa, again, ginkgo, gotu kola, fantastic. There's like 4, if I was, in school right now, lion's mane, bacopa, gotu kola, ginkgo. It's going to bring more blood flow to the brain. All 4 of those things help with creating neurons and helping out nerve growth. So there's nerve growth factors within those things, and bringing the inflammatory stress down off the brain. And the nervous system runs the show, guys. You can replace a heart, you can replace a lung, you can replace a kidney, you can't replace a brain. So we are not that far yet in terms of what can be done surgically, and that's what I would do. Also, I have dark circles. How should I get rid of them? Yeah, that's probably being impacted by lack of sleep and stuff when you're staying up late doing things school-wise. So maybe you do some valerian at night, or making sure that you're getting to bed on time. But we could talk more, definitely. Okay, I've been drinking beet juice lately. Nice little move there. Not hyper-specific, but a good a good thing to be doing, definitely. Beets are kind of slept on, by the way, and I'm pretty sure one of the highest methyl group foods that you can get, or highest B vitamin rich foods, one of the two. It slips my mind right now. That's how you know I'm real. I'm not an AI on this live here. Anyways, what's my favorite nutraceutical company? I don't really have one. I just like the best, most clean forms of them, and if a new company comes out that's better than the top performer, then switch to that guy. Anthony, what's up, man? How we doing? Fatima says thank you. You're very welcome. And any of you guys can send me messages on here too. If we do have to talk about things and do a consult, we can do that as well. Make a little appointment for us, but either way, let's go. Okay, cool. Yes, that combo is the best. It's hard to find it in stores, so buying them separately through Amazon. I forget what this was about. Maybe the Gymnema and the Oregon Grape. The wellnessway.com is the best one. I'm telling you right now. Amazon, you don't know what you're getting. We've actually had the FDA come to our facilities and invited them there and said, please look at our stuff, make sure it's all good and everything. And they were impressed and remain to be. Do anxiety meds tend to have any bad side effects that you know of? You can look up on Hippocrates or drugs.com any side effect and interactions with supplements or food or other meds. I would go there. I'm not the guy. Don't deal with any medications here. I work alongside medicine, but I'm not directly telling people what to do with meds. All things here are natural health focus. So labs, supplementation, food guiding, lifestyle needs. Hello, Doc. Not sure if you remember me, but a few weeks ago I was asking for my head pain. I thought it's trauma-induced since I had an accident a couple days prior. You said I should go see a doc. Yeah, I'd be very curious to hear what happened there. Mr. Tommy, very curious. Let us know. Or send me an email if you don't want to mention that. YouTube should definitely create a message feature on here. I don't know why they haven't done that already. Just saying, YouTube, if you're listening, create a message feature. It'll be great for the platform. I use tea bags, green tea bags. Oh wait, I missed a few things here. Young, getting colon cancer. Oof. And was nervous, so he ordered blood work and it was normal. Okay, that's good. I would want to run a comprehensive functional stool test on you, just to make sure everything inflammatory marker-wise is looking good within the GI. And something that you can do for blood work to look at your own natural killers, your CD4, your CD8, CD19, CD56, all these different things, to make sure that your own cancer defense system is up and running at the rate it should be. That's a piece of blood work you can do as well. Bookie, what's up? How we doing? Been a minute. They rescheduled my dad's appointment for the 17th. Nice, so I'll reach out after that. Well, glad to hear. And I hope he's doing well. Vitamins. Fastest way to get rid of a cold sore on my lip. Turkey tail mushrooms, my man. Turkey tail mushrooms, and you can dilute liquid iodine with water and make sure you're diluting it to the right amount, but you could put that on topically and taking turkey tail mushrooms because you are immune deficient, my man. 100%. Calcium is 10.5. Woof. Yeah, I think we were talking about that with the vitamin D earlier. Yeah, you just want to make sure you're directing that calcium to the right areas, making sure you're doing a good K2 form. So I went and turned out I have a migraine. Okay, totally unrelated, but yes, I was in assumption it's only a female ailment. No, anybody could get migraines. I actually had a woman that needed to get shots in the back of her head pretty regularly, a businesswoman, so very busy girl, and she was doing the right thing, supporting her stressors, living a healthy lifestyle, eating all the clean foods that she thought she was or should be doing, And we ran a food allergy test, and there were like 30 different foods that she was allergic to, and all of them were like healthy foods, like broccoli, avocados, peanuts, cashews, all these things, coconut, for crying out loud. And she cut them all out and never had a migraine again. So you can have multiple causes. There can be structural causes. Again, I am talking about this ad nauseum every single live. There can be chemical causes, and there can be mental stress causes. So those are the only 3 stressors. All 3 of them create an inflammatory response, and that inflammatory response damages and manipulates 2 different systems into adapting, the nervous and the immune system. So those 2 systems run the show for everybody else. So something hormonally, yes, I'm going to look into and test hormones and do all that stuff too, but if you're not finding the inflammatory means, my goodness, we're running in circles. So, but yeah, cool story. I hope you like the patient story. I'm going to do that more often probably too, because I have some crazy stories, honestly. And what got me into sharing that was actually preparing for the talk next week at the church that I'm going to. I started going through all the labs that I have and all these patient stories. I'm like, oh my goodness, I could tell them this and all these crazy stories that happen. But it's pretty cool. Anyways, where did we live off? I noticed I get really stimulated from the beef liver capsules. Can that be from a slow COMT mutation? Yes, it can, my man. I would love you to start doing some passion flower. Actually, we gotta talk again. Send me a message after this to remind me, but we gotta revisit some things. It's been a minute, been a little while. So you don't want to keep going on the same things that you don't really need anymore. But yeah, totally seen that a bunch. Slow COMT mutations, you can struggle with getting B vitamins through the system. So passion flower, fantastic when you're having issues like that, and can calm that down. But let's get on the phone there. Freaking hole in my lip, huh? Jeez. Oh. What are you guys up to today? Let me know down below. Also, where are you guys watching from? Enjoy the stain on my shirt now. Hopefully, it may not stain. Who knows? Either way, best way to get rid of bruises. Okay, so some clotting issues going on there, or lack thereof. Two things come to mind. Nutrient deficiencies, number 1, and then immune deficiencies too, because of platelets and things like that, and just helping your spleen churn out the best forms of those red blood cells as it can. But yeah, I would be curious to probe some more questions here. Definitely vitamin D, definitely K2. K2 freaking awesome for helping with some of those things. And you could probably do, something like astragalus right now, because you'll have effects on the blood vessels, on homocysteine, on the immune system as well. And it's a probably one of my favorite herbs, just because of how powerful it does so many different things. Usually, you have kind of some star medicinal plants for things that they're really good at, like bringing blood flow to the head, or helping the liver convert things out, or doing different things. But yeah, I would go with astragalus here, but I would want to probe some more questions with you, so send me a message there, Jazzy. Where would I get that? Never heard of that. Talking about the cold sore, yeah. For Katie Gibson, send me a message. I'll let you know of the mushroom and where to get it and all those things. And we could probably get an email thread back and forth. And I want to give you basically some free handouts and graphics that you can use to just guide your food and some things a little bit better there. Because it's not just a supplement for everything. That's the habit I want to keep people out of, because it's easy to fall into that trap of, okay, well, medicine has things for headaches, and no matter who you are, you take those things for headaches and they will help. But the natural world, if you have headaches and you take this magic supplement to make them go away, it's probably not going to work. There's a lot of people that are very different, and it depends on what is creating the freaking headache in the first place, right? So just thinking a little bit deeper on that. But anyways, but yeah, Katie sent me a message. Can migraines be hormone based? Yes, they can. Because, well, Alyssa, let me know this. Throughout the month, does your brain change based on your hormonal levels? Yep. Does your waist change? Yep. Do your boobs change? Yep. Do they hurt sometimes? Yep. Are there some days that you really want your man? Yep. And there's some that you really don't, and you want to punch him in the nose. And that's all for good reason, because if you're a woman, technically, you're 4 different women, and depending on the week, and that's not an attack on anybody, for crying out loud. This should actually bring some stress relief, understanding that you're not crazy. You're not crazy, and there are things that are happening in your body. And yeah, can those conversions be slowed down or too quick in certain areas of the body? And can the adrenals store things off? Certainly. If you have mental stress, you are vasoconstricting the entire system. Your blood pressure will change just from mental stress alone. Heck, if you stub your damn toe, your blood pressure is going to change. So that's something physical impacting you chemically and mentally. And you can have something mentally impact you chemically and physically. Just like when you're stressing out like crazy, how do your shoulders feel after a while? How does your neck feel? You get knots in them. You feel stressed. Your muscles feel stressed. Your neck gets tight. You start getting pain, all these things. So yeah, totally. And it's now figuring out, okay, where mentally, chemically, physically do we have to start that investigation and figure out for you what we have to do. But good question, Alyssa. I hope you had a little fun with that there too. Okay. Bruce question. Good info. Thank you, Glennon. Do I have a deviated septum? I do. I do have a deviated septum. Put me on blast, huh? Shanty? Put me on blast here. Jeez. I'm gonna have to change my profile here. I do. Nothing, oh, shaking the cameras. What else is new? But yes, very good observation there. And another thing about the bruise question, Jazzy, different forms of collagen there too. So like Equip Foods, one of my favorite places to get that from, Dr. Antonio DC, get percentage off there. Just really clean brand, doing not only grass-fed cow, but also grass-finished, and getting all the collagen forms of that too. But I would say start with nutrient deficiency, and there may be some immune factors going on there too. What happens, okay, what happens if you can poo? Want can help you? I don't really understand that. Somebody's saying the YouTube stream's lagging. I think the internet was a little weird for a second there. Okay, Tommy. Story continued. So I went and turned out I have migraine. Okay, we read that part. Flames. Hey Doc, watching from South Africa. Welcome, welcome. That's super cool. From across the damn world. Love it. I have wisdom teeth problems, and I was told if I take them out, I've had some jaw deformity. 4 of those wisdom teeth are crooked and impacted and painful. No moonshine here. I would go to a biological dentist. They're going to give you very good answers on what to be doing there based off what the other dentists gave you already. This is just too far out of my realm of knowledge here for a good answer on that. I would go directly to a biological dentist. And there's tons of them out there. How am I doing? Doing pretty well. Let me know if the stream's still lagging for you guys. I hate when that's happening. Starlink. Come on, Starlink. We just installed that thing. Hello from Virginia. Hello. I ordered a methylation panel that has 30 SNPs for $199. That's pretty damn good. That is pretty damn good. I would want to see that lab, man. And I would wonder how long ago you got that. How did you pay for medical school? It's actually undergrad and graduate school. Um, but undergrad was athletic training, so very similar to physical therapy, but more or less for the athletes. And then went to chiropractic school and then became a part of the Wellness Way at the beginning of school there. And that is basically mental, chemical, physical stress is what outlines my entire profession. So yes, the adjusting portion, great for the nervous system, great for taking stress off, great for things physically that you can have some crossover effect into things mentally and chemically. But that's not the only focus. It should not be just adjusting. I think food is a huge area that people need help with, along with how to move their body in the right ways, what to do for things at home and stuff, and testing and supplementation, all that. So, but yes, hi from Ohio. What am I drinking? I'm drinking a little Lion's Mane powder, along with some Ultima for electrolytes, and then a little espresso cup. Dual fisting for you guys. Dual fisting, double, I don't know. Anyways, awesome, thank you, you're welcome. My daughter is still coughing from a bad cold she had a few weeks ago. What is the best thing for her? If your colds or illness or sickness is lasting more than a week, you are immune deficient. I would get an immune panel done on her. You will get vitamin D along with all of her CD4, CD8, natural killer cells, and all the good innate and immune cells that you should be looking at to know what she should be taking. Whether it's elderberry or echinacea or medicinal mushrooms, you don't want to waste your money on things. I think it's worth getting a blood lab. Very easy to do and very affordable as well for that whole thing. It's probably one of my favorite labs and probably one of the cheapest ones too. I also like doing cytokine panels too, but that's a little crazy, right? What can I do about hair loss? You have to figure out why. Histamine and cortisol are huge areas to start that search party, along with a lot of the androgen dominant type of hormones too. So your testosterone, your DHT, your DHEA, making sure that those are converting down, because there will be plenty of issues with that, especially with all the sugar that people indulge in on all the time, and Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and all these things that mess us up like crazy. So yeah, the sugar story, some of the hormonal things there, and then histamine, because the hair follicles themselves have histamine and cortisol regulation separate from things systemically. Woo! Oh my freaking Pandora's box. So you could be, testing things like histamine inside your body, looking for inflammatory triggers and all that good stuff, which I love doing. But there can be a separate histamine reaction happening with the scalp itself. So a little bit different there. I like seeing people put, tallow onto the scalp directly and onion shampoo. So actually, let's do this. Watch your sugars. Maybe doing something for your liver. Who is this? Is this a guy or a girl? I don't know. Just to play it safe, do like something like turmeric, so you can have a focus on the liver and a lot of the inflammatory things that come in on a daily basis. And then onion shampoo from Van Man. Great thing that you could do, because onion will actually change that androgen receptor behavior within the scalp. Onion, crazy cool. I didn't know about that until recently. And I love all of Van Man's products. Those are a fantastic company. No ties to them at all. They're just great people doing great things. Absolutely love it. And what else would I do? I'll get some labs done for crying out loud. Get some freaking blood work done. If you need help getting that, send me a message. No problem helping you guys out. That's what we're here doing. Giving away value like crazy to people. And then Alexis Dunn says, can I go? You could do whatever you want, my friend. Oh, to an OBGYN before pregnancy. Cool part about America is you can do anything. I think there's great value in doing that. Getting all the best diagnostics ran from an OBGYN. Functionality-wise, there's going to be some great things that more in the alternative realm can offer in terms of Dutch testing, and looking for different factors in the blood as well, and even inflammatory beats. And pregnancy too, 40% being the female, 40% being the male too, that needs to get tested and do things, especially with infertility and 20% of the time it's a mix of both of them. So great question. I think you can do that and get great value from it. But yeah. Arms says hello. Frank Siri, hello. Anthony said, I had my sis and niece get the beef liver, and they love it and have tons of energy, and you're probably like, dang it, what the heck? That's funny. It just shows we got some information to get down still, my man, but totally. Antics. Oh, that's pretty clever. If you're on TRT, can you avoid hair loss? I don't know directly. Again, that's a medication question. Not really my realm there, but everybody's going to be different. I know that for a fact. And depending on how things are converting for your body, it's going to be different than the person next to you doing the same exact things. So even twins will have different outcomes with doing the same exact stuff, which is pretty crazy. So you can't blame genetics all the time. Just saying. I have electric shock back pain at the top of my buttocks. Any advice? You can do something like an inversion table, something like foam rolling, but go to a chiro or a massage therapist. There's definitely great things that a massage therapist can offer muscular-wise, and there's some chiros that do a little bit of both. I'm somebody that does a mix of rehab, a mix of, the adjusting portion of that, and oh my goodness, look at all these things that got censored out. My goodness. We're just gonna approve all these things. I'm sorry, people. I'm so sorry. But we got them in there. Okay. But yeah, you probably have some nerve irritation going on. I would just want to make sure you get an x-ray done and make sure things structurally aren't a little wonky, because you could have, spondy or an old fracture or something crazy going on. So, hello from Oklahoma. What's up, people? A shock machine? Oh, you mean like a TENS unit? I don't really like those, to be honest. They only work for the amount of time that you're using them. So there's no carryover effect. If you're in real excruciating amounts of pain, sure. But hello, do you think it's possible for once with thyroid glandular to give side effects? No, it's just going to be something that you don't need. So you're going to be sufficient in different factors there. Whether it be like a slow COMT mutation, which is totally possible, or just having excess of that thyroid building blocks and some of the remnants of the thyroid hormone from the pig or sheep thyroid. I forget which one is in there, but yeah, and that just means you don't need it, which is nice. Save some money there. Got it in the mail from Self Decode today. Gonna send it out Thursday. Oh, you just got this thing. Nice. I'm curious to see what happens there. If you're really a doctor, what is a gastrectomy? I mean, ectomy. You're cutting a portion of the gastrointestinal tract out. So that's just breaking down the word. But I'll be very clear. I have nothing against medicine at all. I refer people to MDs all the time and different practitioners that can give them value with their services. So I'm not here to make things political, or I'm basically showing you the marriage between the natural world and the medical world, because both coexist, and you get way better results when you do both of them, especially if you are in a very troubling situation, like somebody with stage 4 cancer. I want them to do everything that medicine directs them to do, but there's more to the story that medicine doesn't do, and that's not an attack on anybody's identity. That's not saying I'm better than other professions. That is saying we offer different things. We think differently. I think about the terrain, which is to say, if you have a fish tank, I'd rather clean the frickin' tank than medicate a fish, because my degree does not allow me to medicate things. I don't do those things. I don't even want to do those things. I could go back to school and get a degree and blah, 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 but that's not my wheelhouse. I don't know. I've had different forms of care my whole life and decided to chase it because I went through terrible gastric pains when I was having my own personal issues with depression, which was heavily reliant on the GI tract. Terrible gastric pains when I was having my own personal issues with depression, which was heavily reliant on the GI tract. Neurotransmitters, pretty much 80% of all neurotransmitters come from your GI. And regular medical ways of doing things don't look into that because they're not really doing the functional portions of that system. They're looking for fires and putting those fires out, and amazing at doing that. I love how they do that. I love their diagnostics, but I'm looking at function, not diagnostics. Just different things. But I have hemorrhoids, oof, and it's bleeding, help. I'd wonder if you have, perfect example right here. I'd wonder if you've seen any medical providers already, because there may be a cream or something that they have that will shut those off so that we can get some healing done. However, we have to figure out why you're having that bleeding issue. There's definitely connections to food. I would want to get on the phone with you because you can become extremely anemic. I actually have a great patient story of somebody that had to have, or was about to have, their intestinal tract cut out and didn't have to do that because we got things back to normal functionally. So I would want to get on the phone with you. Aloe vera juice, some chamomile factors, slippery elm, can that certainly help things heal a little bit more internally and calm inflammation down and do great things for you? Yes, but it's going to be different for everybody. So there's not a hemorrhoid supplement, if that's what you're asking. But yeah, and if, yeah, that's my thing there. Whew. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. I've had it for years. I've had a constant headache, but it feels like jolts of it. Super frustrating. Well, Emma, I'd wonder what testing you had done, what doctors you've seen, what's the current game plan for things, and if not, we got to make a darn plan for you. What would be the blah blah blah? I cannot talk today, people. What would be the best #1 support for cortisol balance, Kimmy? It's going to vary person to person. If I don't have a lab on somebody, you are safest doing an adaptogen. Something like ashwagandha. Beautiful, beautiful thing to be doing there. If it's more of an acute stress, like, things happening throughout the day, you work with people and you're on the phone with some crazy client or somebody that's creating a huge uproar, that's where you want something like California Poppy. But for just general adaptogenic purposes, ashwagandha is fantastic. Okay. What else we got, y'all? Addie's back. Karina's popping in here. Hello, hello. Ashley, do you want something? I have a question about constant pain in my legs and lower back. Fire away. I wonder how long this has gone on. What you've done so far. What's worked. What hasn't worked. Should I go 500 on the Detroit Lions? I don't know too much about football or sports betting. I have friends that do. I'm more of a UFC guy and jiu-jitsu and those sorts of things, so not really my place to play. But yeah, I just looked at my ankle and the bruise is bad. I have a bump. Get that sucker elevated, my friend. Get some ankle pumps going. What labs do you recommend? It depends. I definitely like starting out with blood work and things, whether that be blood work in the form of a thyroid hormones test or a male panel. Obviously looking at the general things, your CBC, differentials, your different forms of blood sugar, your lipid panel, your hormonal things that go on, thyroid checks and all that stuff. But then GI tests, so comprehensive 3-day stool tests, looking at the microbiome, parasitic, opportunistic infections, whether that be from bacteria, molds, parasites, or fungus, sorry, not mold, that doesn't grow inside you. And we also do mold testing and urine testing for things hormonally, neurotransmitters, heavy metals, cytokine panels in case things are really confusing and we need to. I love cytokine panels because when there's a crazy case going on, one, it's very well priced because it basically shows you exactly what you have to work on in terms of general things. Because I just named like 10 different labs. So if you get a cytokine panel done and it comes up with different interleukins and different immune factors that are going crazy, then you know where to look next. Okay, these immune factors are up, we have to do a food test, or we have to do a GI test, or, you know, it tells you the next step. So I love them. I took some weird chemicals and now have neurological issues and nerve issues. What can I do about it? I have no idea. I would want to know more info about this scenario. Okay. I play soccer. Okay, wait. Addie. I play soccer, my ankle's bruised, and my knee has been dislocating. Oof. What stretches? You don't need more stretches, you need more stability. And that's really common with women because you guys have wider hips. So the Q angle of the hip is wider, which creates a further angle on the knee. So like if these are somebody's hips and this is their butt, that hip angle is going to be greater and then have the knees cave in. So you need to stabilize what is internal and external for those hips. So building out the glutes on the outer sides and the kind of more the medial quad tendons, not necessarily adductors, because you can over train those adductors and kind of contribute to the issue, but build out the outer portion of the leg and the vastus medialis of the thigh, if you really want to know. And yeah, the ankle is going to take some time though. What is L-tyrosine used for? I got a whole pack as a freebie when I bought a creatine and protein. It can help with building up certain factors there, especially for, you know, say like thyroid hormones, and even contribute a little bit to serotonin in a couple building blocks that way. But it's kind of a building block for, if you've ever heard of tyrosine from like chicken, it's in a lot of different food groups and especially proteins, but it just helps your body build kind of some things hormonally for the brain and other hormonal systems. I don't really never give that out ever. So how am I feeling? Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Had to get GI tract cut out, but saw Cairo and and Eve try thing got magically better. Hey man, we could disagree. I'm not here to bag on anybody's profession. We just do different things. Not saying I'm better, not saying you're worse, not attacking anybody's identity. All these disclosures, I'm getting sick of freaking holding people's hands because they can't hear different words, but that's just me. Kimmy, how we doing, Kimmy? Stubble looks good. Thanks, Stacy. Just did it this morning because I looked a little bit Mexican, and I'm not Mexican, I'm Italian. So we went with the stubble a little bit because my mustache gets a little long and it freaking looks like I'm Mexican, and I'm not Mexican at all. 100% Italian. Anyways, we got people helping each other out in here too. Look at that, Liz. He's extra strength, Desitin. I forgot what that question was for, but glad to see it. Hello, do you mind repeating the brand? Oh, the onion shampoo. Yeah, I'm actually going to type it in for you guys. Van Man. I don't have a discount for them. I tried to get one just to give to you guys, but they're terrible at responding. So that is the brand. Van Man is the brand. Favorite way to avoid inflammation? It's more of keeping stressors down, because stressors create an inflammatory response. And, you know, in acute senses, that's actually a good thing. When you get sick, when you sprain an ankle, like our friend on here, you kind of want that ankle to blow up. You want those cells to come in so that they could heal the area. However, if you sprain your ankle every single week, what's the heal time on that? So it's more of where the chronic stressors occur and creating those chronic inflammatory responses. For some people, that's mainly mental. Others, it's food, or things they're drinking or smoking or putting on their skin. Hello, makeup. Hello, shampoos and cosmetics and lotions and potions and all that stuff. And there are some physical elements there too, but you know, Albizia, in terms of your blanket approach to getting inflammation down, that is the number one starting point I have it's probably the number one thing I recommend. So, just to let you in on a little secret. Starting med at 25, am I behind? No, man, you are a young buck. Don't compare yourself to other people too much, because your best competition is you. So, it's the man in the mirror you're competing with, or woman, or whatever. And no, I'm not busy on another stream. I got both you guys pulled up. The YouTube people are getting a little sad I'm not attending to their comments, but you guys aren't really talking, so TikTok is great for comments and going through some things. But I love the YouTubers. You guys are funny. You guys crack me up. Holy crap, it's been 55 minutes already. Should I wear a knee brace for practicing games? You can right now, because it can help with some psychomotor aspects of things and just keep your brain a little bit more attentive to muscle activation and things that occur there. But I definitely would want to see you retraining that area. Like I said, the outer glute muscle, the inner portion of the lower thigh is really what you want to strengthen, and the hamstrings too, my goodness. But hamstrings, back, get it all strong. Is that peanut butter at the bottom of the jar? No, it's lion's mane mushroom powder extract. So I gotta mix her up. I know it's like horrible to hear, right? But I like doing them for these lives because it's like your brain's getting massaged. It's awesome. Lion's mane, probably one of my favorite mushrooms right now. And then somebody talking in Spanish. What's going on? I don't speak Spanish. Maybe that was in response to the facial hair thing. What's the origin of the sternocleidomastoid? I forget which is origin, which is insertion, but basically that last portion of the clavicle and the mastoid, I think it pulls from origin to insertion, so I would say origin here, end of the clavicle, insertion on the mastoid, but let me know if I got that pop quiz correct. Ah, my verification failed. Come on. There we go. Had to do a little verification. Thank you, you're very welcome. I still struggle with TMJ pain after my maxillofacial surgeon gave me injections after physiotherapy. I don't know what went on here in terms of what was happening, the need for the surgery. None of that's. Is there anything I can do to minimize the pain? I mean, you can do something like boswellia. You can do turmeric topically. You can do. I would just do those two. But that's supplement wise. In terms of things physically you could do, not really my wheelhouse there. So why is YouTube being so crazy? Ugh. What the heck? Okay, there we go. I was gonna say, this thing is all screwed up. Okay. Why is this not loading? Hold on, we'll get back to it. 1 minute. Okay. Anyways, what were we saying? Good evening. What's happening? I don't think I've seen you in here on the YouTube page before, but welcome, welcome. What's the arteria subclavian? What's the subclavian artery and what branches are going off of it? Oh, I'm a chiro. You know I know the nerves. In terms of the arterial branches, you got me there, man. I could go into the nerves, but in terms of arterial branches, I remember in school, there's a ton of them that are basically named off each muscle. So it's kind of, not too crazy of a pop quiz there, but a ton of them. Dr. Miriam, hello, how we doing? How's everybody doing? I'm almost out of espresso. Sad, very sad. But picked a new background for you guys today. Hope you guys liked the show. Health Q&A, ask about pain relief. Huh? What doctor am I? I'm a chiro for the Wellness Way. Specialty, health restoration. Literally restoring people's health. Looking for all things functional and where those go wrong by getting people's stressors down. And that's in a mental sense, a chemical sense, a physical sense. And when you have those three stressors continue on constantly, you're going to have inflammatory responses. Those are going to change the immune system. Those are going to change the nervous system or the responses of those systems. And they're primary and can change all the others. So cardiac, hormonal, all those different things. I think getting stress off the nervous system is something people widely overlook. And another cool thing from being inflamed all the time chronically is you're going to become deficient in things, or you're going to have an excess or toxicity of those things. So that's really the secret key is they're looking for obviously those inflammatory stressors, yes, but where are people deficient and where are they in excess of these different things? So just a little bit on what I do, but mainly food guiding, postural guiding, a lot of rehabilitation type things, and things chemically with food, and a lot of behaviors that people need to correct because food is very emotional and it makes us do very naughty things. Ask any guy that has ate themselves in a problem and now they have a big old hard belly. You ever see that before? But either way. Ooh, Dr. Marianne, neurology? Heck yeah, that is super cool. Do I get free consults with you since I'm here? No, I actually, now that we have the systems built out, the free consults, I tried to tell you guys to take them while you could. A few people took me up on the offer, but now we are, I do an initial discovery call, but then it's an initial consult. Then we order some labs, sit down, go over those labs, and create a game plan and show you what to be doing in terms of food and lifestyle and supplementation and when to come off these things. Because the whole purpose of what I'm doing here is to get you off of everything. So, with Doc, where am I based? I'm in actually New Jersey, but that doesn't matter because I do things remote and in person. I'm actually going to be getting on the phone with the X-ray people in a minute here because I got to make sure all our ducks are in a row with permits and things and lead lining walls and doing all that cool stuff. But opening my own branch of the Wellness Way company, so super cool. But what kind of residency do you complete? Chiros don't go through residency. What kind of doc? I'm tired of explaining what kind of doc. I need to put an excerpt that pops in when we do this thing. But I'm probably going to peace out of here pretty soon. Family medicine resident. Beautiful stuff. Well, hey. Cool meeting the new faces in here. Over on YouTube and on the TikTok page. It's cool hanging out. Thank you guys for joining. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you are here chatting with me. Talking about all things health-wise from our natural perspective. And for people that need further questions answered, if you're on TikTok, send me a message. If you are on YouTube, I put my email down in the description or go to the channel page or whatever. You'll find it in there. But YouTube, add a messaging feature, please. And for the TikTokers, let me know. we'll walk through things, hop on a call, figure out what we got to do, and then create a game plan for you guys. So, all right, beautiful stuff, and thank you guys for hanging out. We'll be back. Maybe we'll be back tonight, but look at all the happy chats in here. All right, I'm going to see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out, and have a